In the immediate aftermath of ceasing food intake, little may seem amiss, akin to foregoing breakfast or simply delaying lunch. Yet, within your internal landscape, a subtle negotiation has already commenced. Hormones, enzymes, and organs are striving to decipher a message that has been absent for an extended period. No nourishment is forthcoming as anticipated. Your stomach is the initial responder. Despite its emptiness, it persists in contracting rhythmically, more from habit than true hunger. It releases digestive fluids precisely as it does each morning, awaiting a meal that fails to materialize. This accounts for any sensation of hollowness or abdominal rumbling you might experience. It signifies not alarm, but merely an automatic mechanical function. Concurrently, a minor alteration begins in your bloodstream. Levels of ghrelin, frequently termed the hunger hormone, start to climb. However, ghrelin isn't signaling a fuel depletion. Rather, it's merely reminding your brain of your customary eating schedule. Should you typically dine at 8 a.m., noon, and in the evening, ghrelin will activate at these times with precision. The discomfort you perceive isn't actual starvation. It's your body's resistance to a deviation from its routine. Within your brain, another adaptation is underway. As glucose levels cease to ascend following your last meal, your nervous system adopts a mild energy conservation mode. You might experience a slight increase in alertness or irritability. Both are typical responses, evolutionary cues designed to heighten your senses during brief periods of hunger. To an external observer, nothing remarkable is occurring. However, physiologically, the groundwork for the ensuing 24 hours is being established. Your body is introspecting, evaluating its energy reserves, and preparing to transition from a fed state to a far more ancient, survival-oriented metabolic rhythm. This initial phase, despite its apparent tranquility, triggers the cascade of events that will define what follows. Around the 6-hour mark, the genuine transformation begins. Until this point, your body has been operating on the residual glucose from your preceding meal. But as those levels decline, a critical event unfolds. Your pancreas reduces its secretion of insulin, the hormone responsible for transporting sugar into your cells. With plummeting insulin, your body arrives at a biological crossroads. It can no longer depend on the consistent influx of carbohydrates you've supplied it for years. This is when your liver discreetly intervenes. Your liver stores a substance called glycogen, a condensed, readily available form of glucose. Consider it your internal emergency generator. When insulin levels drop and no food is consumed, your liver commences the breakdown of these glycogen reserves, releasing glucose back into your bloodstream. It's neither dramatic nor hasty. Rather, it's a deliberate, calculated, and remarkably efficient process. You might feel a bit sluggish during this interval, perhaps even experience a brief energy dip, the kind that prompts many to seek a snack. Yet biologically, nothing is amiss. In fact, everything is proceeding precisely as intended. Your body is simply switching fuel sources, much like a hybrid vehicle shifting from gasoline to electric power. And here's an intriguing point. Despite feeling hungry, you are not actually depleted of energy. Most individuals still possess ample glycogen to maintain stability for many hours. The hunger you perceive is largely hormonal, not physical. For adults over 50, this stage presents an additional benefit. As insulin levels decrease, your cells become more receptive to it, a vital enhancement for preventing insulin resistance, a primary contributor to weight gain and type 2 diabetes in older adults. Within your brain, another subtle alteration occurs. As glucose delivery slows, your nervous system starts to prepare alternative pathways, gently nudging your metabolism toward utilizing fat for energy. Later, you might observe fleeting irritation or unexpected mental clarity, depending on your hydration and sleep. But the paramount takeaway is this: your body has officially exited the fed state, and from this juncture onward, each passing hour propels you deeper into a metabolic landscape seldom encountered by most. The subsequent phase marks the true commencement of the most fascinating transformations. As you surpass the 10-hour mark, your body enters a period that appears quieter externally, but is dramatically different beneath the surface. The liver has been consistently releasing glycogen, thereby maintaining stable blood sugar. However, those reserves are no longer abundant. They are diminishing, and your body recognizes this. This is the juncture when your metabolism begins to prepare for a more profound shift, one upon which humans relied for the majority of our evolutionary history. With glycogen stores dwindling, your liver starts to convey a simple message to the rest of your system. Prepare yourselves, we're changing fuels. At this stage, energy doesn't dissipate, it merely begins to transform. Within your fat cells, subtle hormonal signals initiate the unlocking of stored triglycerides, long-term energy you've been carrying for years. They are not yet released in vast quantities, but the gates are beginning to open. It is the earliest glimpse of fat-burning mode, the first indication that your body is poised to move beyond glucose and tap into considerably larger reserves. Most individuals characterize this period as feeling somewhat hollow or slightly depleted of energy. Yet, an interesting phenomenon accompanies this. A peculiar lightness, enhanced mental clarity, a sense that your body is operating more efficiently than it seemingly should after a full day without food. This is because your insulin levels, now significantly lower, facilitate more stable blood sugar control and reduce inflammatory signaling. For older adults, this is particularly potent. Lower insulin, even for a short duration, can aid in restoring metabolic flexibility, diminishing inflammation, and fostering healthier blood pressure, all critical elements for healthy aging. Your brain also senses this metabolic transition. While it hasn't fully transitioned to ketones yet, it's preparing for that possibility. The pathways responsible for storing, releasing, and transporting fat-based energy start to activate, much like a city illuminating its streetlights at dusk. You might not yet experience the full impact of these changes, but unequivocally, you are on the brink of one of the most significant metabolic shifts your body can undertake. And the real transformation begins once you move beyond hour 12. By the time you reach the 14-hour mark, your body crosses a threshold it seldom experiences in contemporary life. Glycogen reserves, your immediate access energy, are nearly depleted. With nothing left to draw from these easily accessible storage tanks, your metabolism finally does what it was designed to do in times of scarcity. It turns to your stored fat. Within your fat cells, the doors that previously began to open now swing wide. A process known as lipolysis activates, breaking down triglycerides into free fatty acids. These fatty acids then enter your bloodstream, becoming the new fuel source upon which your muscles, organs, and eventually your brain will depend. This marks the first true moment of metabolic independence, when your body ceases to anticipate food and begins to sustain itself. Contrary to widespread expectation, this stage doesn't always feel worse. In fact, for many, energy stabilizes. The previous irritability and mental fogginess begin to recede. Your mind may feel surprisingly calm, even focused. This is because your blood sugar is no longer fluctuating wildly based on meals. Instead, it is leveling out as your metabolism transitions into a cleaner, more consistent rhythm. Unseen, your mitochondria, the powerhouses within your cells, start to adapt. They become more adept at extracting energy from fat-based molecules. This diminishes oxidative stress, lowers inflammation, and supports healthier aging. For individuals over 50, this phase can be transformative. It is the point at which insulin is at its nadir, inflammation begins to subside, and long-term metabolic repair commences. At this juncture, you are no longer merely skipping meals. You are tapping into a deeply ingrained survival system, one that humans relied upon long before food was readily available. And the deeper you delve into this state, the more remarkable the changes become. As you progress beyond 16 hours without food, something extraordinary begins to stir beneath the surface. Up to this point, your body has shifted fuel sources, stabilized your energy, and learned to operate smoothly on stored fat. But now, a deeper transformation commences. Not in your stomach, not in your bloodstream, but within your cells themselves. This is the stage where autophagy starts to intensify. Autophagy is often described as the body's self-cleaning mechanism, but that phrase scarcely encompasses its elegance and essentiality. Imagine each cell in your body having a small maintenance crew. When you are continuously eating, that crew is too occupied processing incoming nutrients. However, during fasting, these workers finally have the opportunity to inspect the cell, to locate compromised proteins, damaged mitochondria, malfunctioning components, and to recycle them into usable energy. It's akin to your cells clearing out outdated furnishings, faulty wiring, and neglected clutter that has accumulated over years. For individuals in their 40s, 50s, and beyond, this process is invaluable. Cellular waste accumulates with age, contributing to inflammation, a slowed metabolism, and an elevated risk of chronic diseases. Autophagy acts like a microscopic spring cleaning, enabling your cells to function with renewed efficiency. Meanwhile, your mitochondria, sensing the shift, begin to produce energy in a more refined, controlled manner, generating less metabolic waste, less oxidative stress, and a surprising benefit many people observe: a clearer mind. Your brain isn't yet fully dependent on ketones, but ketone levels are rising, acting as a stabilizing fuel that keeps your thoughts sharp and steady. Mood can also shift in unexpected ways. Some individuals experience a gentle uplift or mental clarity, while others feel a calm, grounded tranquility. These changes are not random. These are neuroadaptive mechanisms that help your brain maintain optimal function and alertness when food is scarce. While these alterations may not be immediately apparent, nor explicitly felt, your body is undergoing a profound cellular reconstruction, preparing itself for the most critical stage yet. This phase manifests as you approach the 24-hour mark. Upon reaching the 24-hour point, the most salient transformations occur not within your muscles or metabolic system, but rather within one of your body's most heavily utilized systems, the digestive tract. Your stomach, small intestine, and colon seldom experience true rest in contemporary existence. Many individuals consume food from morning till bedtime, allowing minimal time for gut recovery. However, after nearly a full day without sustenance, something extraordinary begins to transpire. Your stomach's acid production diminishes. The gut lining, constantly subjected to the rigors of digestion, finally has an opportunity to mend microscopic damage. Inflammation within the digestive system starts to recede, providing sensitive tissues with a chance to recuperate. Your intestinal microbiome, a complex ecosystem of trillions of members, also undergoes a transformation. Bacteria that thrive on continuous food intake become quiescent, while those adapted to fasting conditions assume dominance. This reorganization, though seemingly minor, can influence various aspects, from immunity to emotional well-being. For older adults, this temporary digestive reset can be particularly impactful. Numerous individuals over 50 experience symptoms linked to chronic gastrointestinal stress, such as bloating, irregular digestion, acid reflux, or post-meal discomfort. During fasting, as the digestive workload decreases, the gut transitions into a healing mode rather than a processing one. You might experience a sensation of lightness during this period, less stomach pressure, reduced sluggishness, and a subtle impression that your digestion has relaxed its grip. Yet, while your gut recuperates, your brain and hormones are orchestrating an even more profound series of events. The ultimate metabolic shift as you near the 24-hour threshold. This is when your body unveils its most remarkable adaptive capabilities. As you enter the final stretch, the 22nd, 23rd, and 24th hours, your body attains a metabolic state unlike any you've experienced throughout the day. This moment marks the convergence of all the subtle changes from the preceding hours into an unmistakable zenith of clarity, efficiency, and intrinsic repair. The initial significant alteration involves your hormones. Human growth hormone, HGH, known for its role in tissue repair, muscle preservation, and fat mobilization, begins to significantly elevate. Levels can increase by 4 to 5 times their usual concentration. This effect is not about muscle building, it is a protective mechanism. Your body boosts HGH to safeguard lean mass while continuing to utilize fat for energy. This explains why you haven't lost muscle, despite not eating for almost an entire day. Your body isn't deteriorating, it's defending itself. Simultaneously, your liver intensifies the conversion of fatty acids into ketones. At this juncture, ketones can supply up to half of your brain's energy requirements, and the brain thrives on ketones. They burn efficiently, provide sustained energy, and augment the production of neurotransmitters associated with focus and mood. This accounts for the widespread reports of surprising calm, heightened alertness, or mental acuity experienced near the 24-hour mark. A clarity that seems almost too good for someone who hasn't consumed food. This is not sorcery. It is biology, functioning precisely as intended, maintaining your sharpness during periods when, historically, finding food was critical. Your heart also adapts remarkably during this phase. Reduced insulin levels, decreased inflammation, and improved heart rate variability enhance the resilience of your cardiovascular system. It operates more efficiently, conserving energy without compromising power. And deep within your cells, autophagy, the internal cleansing system, reaches some of its highest activity levels throughout the entire fast. Damaged proteins are systematically dismantled, faulty cellular components are recycled, and cellular efficiency escalates. You are not undergoing starvation. You are undergoing repair. You are not weakening. You are becoming metabolically keener, cleaner, and more adaptable than at any point during the past decade of continuous eating. Even at this peak, a crucial question remains. Is a 24-hour fast always safe? And who should refrain from it? This is where your journey takes a more pragmatic turn. Even amidst the multitude of benefits, it is imperative to pause and consider the alternative perspective. A 24-hour fast can be transformative, yet it is not universally safe and not suitable for everyone. Understanding its limitations is as vital as comprehending its biological mechanisms. For healthy adults, particularly those over 40, short-term fasting can bolster metabolic flexibility, diminish inflammation, and enhance insulin sensitivity. However, for others, the risks may outweigh the advantages. If you use insulin or medications that reduce blood sugar, a 24-hour fast can trigger dangerous drops in glucose levels. Individuals with type 1 diabetes, advanced type 2 diabetes, severe cardiovascular disease, or chronic kidney disease should avoid prolonged fasting, unless under medical supervision. Pregnant or breastfeeding women should not attempt it, nor should anyone with a history of eating disorders. Even for healthy individuals, fasting should not be a daily practice. Over-frequent fasting can have adverse effects, escalating stress hormones, disrupting sleep, or slowing metabolism. Once or twice a week, or even once every 2 weeks, is typically sufficient for most people to reap benefits without undue strain. Hydration and electrolytes are also crucial. Sodium, potassium, and magnesium naturally decrease during extended fasts. Without replenishment, you may experience dizziness, lightheadedness, or heart palpitations. Fasting is a tool, not a panacea, not a penance, and not a quick fix. Used judiciously, it can facilitate bodily healing. Used carelessly, it can be detrimental. Having understood the safety considerations, one more question remains. How can one perform a 24-hour fast smoothly and comfortably? This is where straightforward, practical measures make all the difference. Now that you comprehend the internal bodily processes and identify who should avoid this practice, The final step involves understanding how to make a 24-hour fast feel steady, secure, and remarkably manageable. Fasting transcends mere biology. It necessitates strategy. First, prioritize hydration, and don't wait until you're thirsty. Water becomes your primary support system during an extended fast. Sip consistently throughout the day. Dehydration is the quickest route to experiencing fatigue, irritability, or mental fogginess, especially for adults over 50. Second, incorporate electrolytes, the unsung heroes. When you refrain from eating, your body naturally expels sodium, potassium, and magnesium. Their absence can lead to dizziness or heart palpitations. Adding a pinch of salt to water or consuming a zero-calorie electrolyte drink can significantly improve the overall experience. Third, manage hunger in waves, not as a continuous ordeal. Hunger does not perpetually intensify. It comes in predictable surges, typically coinciding with your usual meal times. When a wave strikes, wait 10 minutes. Take a walk. Drink warm water or herbal tea. Most waves dissipate more rapidly than people anticipate. Fourth, conclude the fast gently. Upon completing the 24 hours, resist the urge to overeat. Begin with something simple. Broth, yogurt, fruit, or a light, balanced meal. Allow your stomach time to reactivate. Fifth, grant your body a moment to acknowledge the transformation. Sit, breathe, and absorb the clarity, calmness, and surprising steadfastness that frequently follow a complete metabolic reset. With the appropriate approach, a 24-hour fast transforms from a challenge into a potent dialogue between you and your body. Upon reaching the 24th hour, something extraordinary transpires, not merely within your physiology, but within your self-perception. You begin to view yourself differently. What once felt like food deprivation now feels more akin to initiating a conversation with a system far more insightful and adaptable than you had ever conceived. Over the past day, your organs synchronized into a rhythm predating civilization. Your liver assumed the role of an energy architect. Your fat cells released reserves you had forgotten existed. Your mitochondria purified their internal machinery. Your hormones recalibrated. And deep within, your cells executed one of the most profound acts of self-maintenance available to the human organism. You didn't impose anything. You simply withdrew and allowed your biology to function as it was designed. A 24-hour fast is neither a panacea nor a regimen to be followed daily. However, it serves as a powerful reminder that your body is not fragile. It is not reliant on continuous feeding. It is not as inflexible or delicate as modern life might suggest. It is adaptable. It is intelligent. And given the appropriate conditions, it instinctively knows how to repair itself. Whether you choose to fast again or not, you now possess an understanding that most people never acquire. Your body is capable of extraordinary transformations long before you ever genuinely feel hungry. And if this journey has enlightened you, prepare to be amazed by what transpires when another common habit propels your biology in an entirely different direction. The next question is equally compelling. According to science, what happens to your body when you drink coffee every day for 30 days? Watch the next video. Your body has more narratives to unveil.